Thank you so much. Um, some of you guys, my name is Leslie Strange. I'm a recovering alcoholic. My sobriety date is November 2nd, 1988. That means I have 36 years of continuous sobriety with one white chip by the grace of God. A lot of stumbles, a lot of fumbles, a lot of skint knees, concussions, knots on my head, and that's spiritually, in this 36 years. But I wouldn't take away any of it. There's some scar tissue in there. For those of you who had surgeries, you know there's scar tissue in there. There's some stuff, some residue, some chipped bones, some arthritis in my spirit. But the funny thing about it, my scars have become my stars, baby. I just told a friend that who had major surgery down his back. I said, baby, why don't you tell the story about how you set that car on fire with all your friends on it and you got those scars? He said, I'm scared to tell that story. I said, don't you know that your scars are your stars, baby? We come into the rooms to see how you are healing, how you heal, what do you do to heal? So I'm here to talk about step 11. I'm not going to be one. I can compartmentalize by God's grace and mercy. I can compartmentalize that 11th step, whether you're old or whether you're new. So get ready. Like my sponsor says, buckle up, Buttercup, because we getting ready to go on a ride, baby. I'm a whole amusement park. And he said, Brazen Huzzy, and I would be that girl at the bar in the cowboy movies. I'd be the Brazen Huzzy. That's me. I'm all of that. I'm actress. I act crazy. He's the calm, and I'm the one that's all over here doing backflips and twerking at 64. So we are exactly what you see, but it tends to work out for us. And I thank you, Ralph. Ralph has been my support. He's been that crutch. He's been that strong armed. And then we've had spiritual arm wrestling on this thing called God. We talk about deep stuff. We talk about lightweight stuff. And then we don't talk when there's a football game on. So, I'm a widow. He ain't got nothing to say. Well, I'm so glad this is over with. Now he's in basketball. He done lost his damn mind. And has the nerve to play baseball, watch baseball. Who does that? Anyway, all set. 11th step. My story is a lot like this. I'm a recovering Catholic. And in Catholicism, there's a whole lot of prayers. There's a whole lot of pomp and circumstance. What's pomp and circumstance? There's orders and there's certain things that you do. There's the genuflecting in front of the cross when you come into the church. And I was raised in Catholic school. And we had to say the stations of the cross. That's all 12 stations about Christ going around. And we had the priest come down the aisle with the incense and the two altar boys. And there's all these signs of spirituality, as they call it in the Catholic Church. Today, I can go into any mosque, any temple, anything that has to do with the goodness of the Most High, of the universe, of the one with no name. Bill uses the creative intelligence. He uses a lot of names for this thing. So I'm going to use, for simplicity's sake, the word God. Now, if you're mad at me, that's on you. You can insert here, because the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous gives us different ways to say what we say without saying God. If you want to say higher power, that's fine, but I'm going to talk like I need to talk. And for those who understand, please, if you don't understand, check it off and question me in the Q&A. The 11th step talks about sought through prayer and meditation. I'm going to tell you this. I'm the girl that got drunk. I didn't pray before I got that paycheck. I didn't pray before I got that money or got that alcohol or got that dry good. I didn't pray anything. I always prayed break glass in case of emergency prayer. Oh God, don't let my mother hear about how I got after school. Oh God, don't let my mother be mad. My mother was my biggest rival. Oh God, don't let me get in trouble. Oh God, don't let these police pull me over. It's my only oh God. I didn't say oh higher power, hell no. I said oh God. And I never prayed before I took a drink. I just knew the drink was going to work. But what I've come to understand today is I've always tried to fill a square with a round peg. The hole in my soul, or the pain, or the embarrassment, or the shame, or the guilt, or the anger, or the resentment, or the fear, I always replaced it with alcohol. King Alcohol worked. Oh, and it worked well, baby. It made me exhale. It gave me a chance to breathe. It took those things that were crowding my brain and putting it to the side and say, you don't have to think on nothing, baby. I got you. That's what alcohol did. Until it did what it did to Bill. It just cut me to shreds. It turned on me like a friend that told all my business. Oh, that alcohol tore me up, baby. I was 28 years old, and when I got to that bottom, and when I cooperated with my surrender prayer was, God, please help me. I didn't know what was wrong, but I knew something was out of order. I knew that I couldn't stop. I thought maybe there was an addiction there, but I wasn't quite sure, but I was scared because I knew I didn't want to go in life like I had been going in life. And I knew I didn't want to die. 28 years old, I had a lot of living to do. So my first prayer, why am I so foreign to prayer when I come into the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous? My first prayer was the Lord's Prayer. I learned that as a little kid. Didn't understand it because I had a lot of thee, thy, and thou, but they said that we had to pray that a whole lot. Then they taught me the Hail Mary. I get to pray to this woman, Jesus' mama. Oh, I got to learn that prayer. But today I can pray that prayer for women in general. But then when I came to you guys, you introduced me to another prayer, and it was the Serenity Prayer. And I stood there, the newbie, the elementary school kid, emotionally retarded, the emotional little kid playing in the sandbox, and held your hands and felt out of order because I didn't know that prayer. See, if you're an alcoholic of an intellectual variety like me, if I don't know it, I'm not going to say nothing until I learn it. But I make sure I go learn it because I don't want to look stupid. So I went and made sure I learned that prayer. See, I didn't even know the Serenity Prayer when I came in. But when I prayed to whatever that is and said, God, please help me, and he cracked open that window of grace, and I was able to cooperate with that cracked open window, I felt that breeze or whatever that is, and I'm using this as an example. This is fictitiously. And I stepped through it because I have to cooperate with my prayers, y'all. I have to cooperate with what I ask the universe or whatever this power that's running this planet. I know I didn't create me. I know I didn't create me to inhale and exhale. I did know that. And I didn't know that God is a God of giving, God of loving, a God of hope, a God of grace and mercy. All God does is love. See, Catholic school had me with that punishing God, that petty God. Oh, you don't do what I want? So guess what? I'm going to throw locusts, and I'm going to make sure all your firstborn die. That's the God that I remembered. But I come in here, and you guys say, hey, first of all, we're going to help relieve you of the bondage of the alcohol. I just wanted the detox. I didn't come in here to learn more about God. In fact, I didn't even know what the 12-step program was about when I came in. That's how green I was. And when I stepped into that, I stepped into a whirlwind of learning about not only my dis-ease, but to learn about my disconnect with the power. But I would come back and I would say things like, and if you knew, you probably say, I know who God is. Yeah, I believe in a God. But you know what I found out? I don't trust God and I don't recognize his grace. That's my fault. That was my default. I don't know what grace looks like. Grace sounded like an old Amazing Grace, that song that doesn't make any sense and is dragging and it's slow and it's boring and it doesn't, you can't dance to it. If I can't pop my fingers to it, I ain't singing it. It had too many verses. Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I'm not a wretch. Now I might be a heifer, but I ain't a wretch. A wretch to me looked like an old witch that was running around boiling sun. I didn't know what a wretch was, but I wasn't a wretch. I was just a kid that needed some help, staying stopped. So when we talk about our 11th step, I always tell my sponsees things like this. Pray. See, for me, prayer was embarrassment. Prayer was a sign of weakness. I would never, in the beginning when I got sober, I couldn't pray in front of anybody. I literally had to pray alone, set off from everybody, but you guys made it cool to pray. Because you stood up there looking all clean and sober and smelling good and talking good and smiling and wasn't nobody stealing and I had to watch the back door. I didn't have to watch my purse. You brought me coffee. You gave me cookies. You gave me gifts of love and hugs and introduced yourself and gave me numbers. And then at the end of the meeting, hot damn, here we go. We stood up and I just did what y'all did and y'all stood up and you grabbed my hand. Evelyn, they grabbed my hand and somebody grabbed my other hand and I looked and my mama was with me, the same woman I couldn't stand. Oh, she supported me my first 90 days. She was dressed for a meeting an hour before the meeting. So are we going over here today? I said, yeah, we going. She was my road dog, the same woman I hated. She said, that's okay. So even though I never saw my mama on her knees, I bet you a dime to a dozen. And one day I'll get to ask her, I bet you she prayed for me. In fact, I didn't know you guys prayed for me before I came in here. See, that's why if I'm in a meeting, I do things like this. If I'm in a meeting and I'm walking back to my chair and they're standing up and they get ready to say a moment of silence for the alcoholics in and out of the room who's still suffering, and then they get ready to go into, I honor that and I stop where I'm standing out of respect. Respect for the dead who are still living. It is an honor. It is something real when we have that moment of silence. That's not that moment of silence to whisper to your neighbor, Leslie. That moment of silence is somebody, somewhere. Where am I sending that out to? Who am I sending that out? Who are we praying to? And there's something amazing. I'm going to bring you another angle. When we have a collective energy, stay with me. When we have a collective energy and we're all on the same vibe and we're all on the same level and we're all standing around together and we're standing there praying and saying these words, chanting these words, we're like a retarded choir. And I know the Most High is saying, look at my babies. That collective energy is going to put something out in the forest and it's going to shake some rocks and shake some mountains and shake some molehills and shake some snow, and it's going to make an avalanche and it's going to do something for somebody, seen and unseen. Not only the person praying, but the person that's being prayed for. I believe in that. See, this thing about God is if you believe it, it is true. This is me. If you don't believe in the unbelievable, it's not true. If you don't believe in healing and positive energy and negative energy, and what you do negatively bounces off the ceiling of the universe and comes back to you, and you wonder why you ain't got no friends, you might want to step back and say, what is it in me that's putting that energy out there? If you keep drawing negativity towards you, I'm talking about 11 steps still. If you keep drawing that to you, if you live in lack and limitation, you always borrowing and stealing and hustling and begging and grinding. So what is it? That energy you putting out there, it's bouncing back. Why is it bouncing back? What am I doing? Newcomer. You asked for help. Isn't it amazing that you're sitting in a room full of help? That's no coincidence. I mean, God, my understanding in this world, there are no coincidences. Oh, I might be dramatic and emphatic and extra and stuff, but that's how much passion I have about this thing called God. So when you tell me to pray, I said, okay, fine. Now what I do, let me give you an example. Let me tell you, I had a sponsor, terrified, mad as hell. I sponsor a lot of women because they give me so much good information to confirm what I learned in the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous. Oh, information is fine. It don't mean nothing. You can have your book marked up. You can have your book falling apart. You can have the 12 step in the 12 and 12 somewhere around the first step because your book is fine. You can have all the information. You can go to 18 big book studies. You can get another too early for 25 years. But until it applies, it don't mean nothing. It's just information. I'm more than an information gatherer. I'm an activator. Let me test this stuff that they talk about. See, because when we come together as one, and I see us all standing around, even if we're on Zoom, it's something about the energy. And I was watching something about an old Hollywood actress and Hedy Lamarr, and she was the woman who patented the energy that we use now for the Bluetooth. Come on, y'all don't know nothing about that. I was reading that because I like old Hollywood. You can see right there. See that right there? That's me. I'm from LA. She figured out a way with a man. She figured out a way how to do this energy. So this is an energy right here. All of us are an energy. You are part of it. Even if you don't like it, you in it. 20 minutes, 20 seconds. I stayed around here long enough to know it's not just the drugs and alcohol that was killing me. It was my disconnect with the power. What power y'all talking about? I believe in God. Yeah, but you don't trust him and you don't know what grace looks like. Girl, go sit down and learn about this power you done chose to call God and shut your mouth. That was Betty T that just came out. That was my sponsor for 26 and a half years. She said, get on your agnostic knees and ask God for forgiveness and not trusting and believing in him one more time. I said, is that what agnostic temperament means? She said, yeah. So let me go back to my sponsor. This just happened the other day. See, I like to put skin on my right now stuff. I've been with this baby for 2.5, 3 years. She an angry little something too. She just big mad. She just mad because she mad. I'm like, some of y'all, some people that just be mad. What man? You ugly when you mad. Stop being so ugly. Why you mean? Why you bullying people? Running around here thinking you got big phallics like you a man. You ain't no man. Go sit down. Warm up. Be soft. I mean, you can bring out the bass in your voice like that. Ralph, you need to take that bass out your voice. I said, I fought all my life to talk like this. I did some color purple. Shut up. I've been fighting all my life. Anyway, so, and she's mad. And every time she called me, she's fussing and fussing and fussing and cussing. And I said, and sometimes I have to raise my voice. I'm not talking all warm. I'm not the soft and warm and fuzzy sponsor. Sometimes I will. But if you start pushing back, when they read tonight about the spiritual experience, either in belligerent or not belligerent, you know what belligerent is? That's an angry summers or summers. You is a mad. God saved you. You was fool. And all of a sudden that I'm good with God, that kind of wears out for a Gnostic temperamented girl like me. God is good as long as stuff is going my way. But then when life kick in, I'm mad. Baby, you better get back on the center. See, I came into the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous selfish and self-centered. I stay now because I am selfless and I'm self-centered without the dash. So I have myself centered. What am I trying to center myself with? Trying to center myself with the spirit. So this sponsee, I keep getting to her. I'm holding y'all out like a good ass binge watching TV. Hold on. So the sponsee, she called me, she's mad. Her dad just died. Her mama want to sell the property. She lives in one of the back houses. She just mad. And she said, I got a lump on my breast. Okay. Did you get diagnosed? She said, no, I felt it. I said, oh. So, well, the purpose of me is to try to find the good in everything. And I said, well, the good news is you found it. Does it hurt? No, but it's fear. I said, oh, so I know your fear. See, you haven't prayed. You didn't pray once you found it, right? You didn't pray once you found it. All of a sudden you found it. Now you done chemotherapy. You're going to have to shave your head. You're going to have to go on disability. How are you going to pay your rent? You done killed your goddamn self. What are your boys going to do without you? What the family going to do without you? How you going to... I said, you done killed you all in the future, right? I already know what you did. See, that's the expertness of being older and more groomed and where she went, because I would have went there. She said, yeah, but this is some bull and I can't take all this right now. I got enough. And she cussing and fussing. And I said to her, I said, well, why don't you stop right now? Look at the clock. What time is it? And when and I've gotten so groomed in this 11 step, this prayer meditation, when I see you going left, I stop. I said, look, stop. Let us pray. And when I say stop and let us pray, I summon that God of my understanding. I said, come on, God, give me something. And the words flow. I no longer am afraid to pray. See, the third step prayer, and I'm going to jump around and come back to her, but the third step prayer said you can say it a little something like this. You ain't got to recite that prayer. Make up your own third step prayer, Leslie. God, I give me to you to do with me and with you. Relieve me of the bondage of all this crap that's going on. Take away my difficulties. And so that I can better be of service to other people and help them and tell them about who did it. So I did the prayer. I said, so when's your appointment? This was on a Saturday. She said, I got one Monday. I said, oh, you got an appointment. That means you got some benefits. I ain't got non-medical benefit. It's good. She don't want to hear that. When you mad, you don't want to hear nothing good. I said, pray on that. Hell, I'm going to pray with God. Oh, so you big mad with God now. Now all of a sudden God gave you that number. You know what I found out what grace looks like? Grace looks like what God doesn't do, what I thought God does. I thought, God, you pillage and you have wars and you have these political things and you have people murdering people and you have black on black crime and green on blue crime and LGBT crimes and all this. God, if you're up there, why are you allowing all of that? And you know what I learned in my meditation and prayer and a few books and talking to my sponsor? I didn't do all of this, Leslie. If I'm a God of love, why would I do all of that? I give you guys all free. Each square in here has the freedom of choice. You get to choose to do what you would. Now, maybe if Ali chooses to shut this meeting down, will it affect some of us? It'll affect everybody, but he has the freedom of choice. So if somebody murders somebody, will it affect the family? Absolutely. But God says there's always a gift of love, even in the worst circumstances. So I tell the sponsor, guess what? I said, well, she called me yesterday. She said, I went and got the ultrasound and all that. I said, okay, they didn't give you no results. No, they give it to me today. I said, okay. And so when you call me back, because there's a certain intuitive, magical, mystical thing when you're a believer. You can call it. I can read spirits and I can read faces. I can read you. If I meet you face to face, I've already read you. There is a gift that I've been given, and I know what my gift is. Sounds weird, sounds unbelievable. If you don't believe that's possible, then it ain't for you. But I believe it's possible. So it is. Because I said it is. Because my God confirmed it. She calls me today. No, in fact, she didn't. She called me. I didn't answer the phone. Because, see, sometimes being a spirit guide, a spiritual navigator, I'm going to let you sit with your chick. Excuse me, stop. I'm going to let you sit with it for a little while. I say what I say what I said, and I turn over and I let you handle it for a little bit. Because I want you to contact that consciousness, that God connection, something up here, that same thing that brought you into the rooms. Hey, I want you to sit with that and see what that tells you. Even if you ain't praying. 13 minutes. So I sat there and I looked at her text and she said, yeah, I got the results. It's nothing. They're just going to keep an eye on it. I told her yesterday, I said, baby, and by the way, when the results come back and they say it's nothing, you know I'm going to tear that ass up. You know I'm going to tear you up. We're going to go back to all your fear and all that insanity. She cussed at me. She was mad at me. She hung up in my face. All of that. I said, baby, but I'm not going to let you go. Be mad at me. I can take that. I'm built for that. Like Ralph says, I'm built for that. Come on. All you're doing is shadow boxing. You know, shadow boxing is hard. Found out she didn't have nothing wrong. I ain't talked to her yet, but you know I'm going to tell. Because, see, we got to go back and review what it was to get to what it is. So the next time something comes up, you can say, okay, where's the God? I've done all the steps. I've gotten away the things that block me. I'm at least aware of the things that are blocking me from the sunlight of the spirit. I'm looking at my defects. I'm looking at my fears. I'm looking at my resentments. I'm looking at the things that have affected me when I'm mad at you. Third column. I'm looking at my part that I play, my mistakes. What should I have done instead? I've looked at all of these things. I've prayed and asked for help. And then I go help somebody else, and I'm aware doesn't mean that it's going to be perfect. And then you guys turn around and tell me, keep praying. Well, shit, I don't know nothing about no praying. Have a conversation with God. I live alone right here. And I walk around and I say, God, what we finna do about this? I don't know how this is going to work. Then I call my sponsor. Because why? My sponsor is the spiritual connection when I can't be connected. She's the extension cord to my life. When I can't find the power. 26, 36, 56 years later, I'm going to always have some spiritual guide. Now let's talk about the 11th step, because if we're all on one accord and we all agree that we need a power greater than ourselves, we're a power within a power. As a unit, we're a cold unit, baby. We're unbreakable. And if I'm in a unit with all of y'all, I have more power because I'm in the unit with all of y'all. And if I have more power, I can talk to that power directly, and I can get solid counsel from one of y'all directly. Then all of a sudden, I'm no longer alone. Ferdinand, I'm no longer alone. I can tell you, Lana, about all the abortions I had. I can tell you about all the wild sexcapades I went in on Carol. Evelyn, I can tell you on all the things that I do today that are out of alignment so that I can get myself centered. But the meditation, I used to think I had to burn some candles. I couldn't focus my brain. See, I'm an alcoholic microwave brain. If I pray, it's supposed to happen just like that. See, God was a fairy with fairy dust and a little ding. Maybe God was gay. I don't know. He's just ding, just give me some confetti and unicorns and stuff. God just blessing me. You told me if I pray for it, you give it to me. And God said, who told you that? Is that what you heard when you was talk to me? Sometimes I'll give it to you right away. But sometimes I let you sit in it for a minute to see how faithful you be, because I get to exercise my faith muscles. And I get to see what grace looks like. Grace is paying bills when I don't know where it's come from. Grace is making my heart beat when it shouldn't, because I've done so many drugs and alcohol. You ever have the heartbeat where it skips a beat and be like, oh God, don't charge somebody yeah, give me a jump. Whew. And then all your friends around you are dying of diabetes and dying of cancer and dying of this. And then Leslie, you sitting here full grown and healthy and you're 64 years old. Ooh, grace of God. I don't know. I can't even tell you why. I just know it's God's grace. Ralph got some friends, he's a little older than me. Ralph got some friends, they dropping like flies. And Ralph was still, I said, this how you still, it's okay. That's grace. I'll be doing everything against it. So you tell me to pray, so I start to pray. And what you guys started sending me is these little meditations. And I read on those things, and I call it chewing or ruminating on what it is I just read. Let me think about it. Let me ponder that a little bit. Look this word up a little bit. This is how I do 11th step. When I do it an 11th step, let me tell you my daily routine. Sometimes I wake up in the bed and I'll lay there for a couple minutes. Don't take long, just for your information. And I say, thank you, God, for waking me up. We made it through the night. I didn't wake up dead. This is sexy. Okay, so what we got to do today? And I go over that. So I'm going to go to page 86, Upon Awakening. I ain't got time. I don't even know where my book is half the time. So I make up my own thing. Okay, I'm sitting down. Okay, we got to do this. I got to make some breakfast. I feel like it. I don't get out of bed. Okay, thank you for this. And then I can unbuckle my seatbelt in my bed, and I have the right to let my feet touch the floor to roam the cabin of life. Hot damn. The pilot said, now you can unbuckle your seatbelt and roam the cabin of life. Guess what I did? I just prayed, meditated, and now I get to levitate. Shut up, don't judge me. I was 595 years old when I discovered I could do that. And then I had the nerve to call my sponsor one time and say, can I pray in the bed? Because when you get old and I had knee surgery, getting on the hardwood floors on my knees, the way my body built. Calvin Clappin, he's seasoned. He's like, no, they're getting on their knees. That's when them young folks, that's like all dropping it like it's hot. I'll lower it like it's warm. I can only go so low. I can't go there. And she said, no, baby, you could do it. You could do it in your bed. 7 minutes, 8 seconds. Let me start talking about this thing called Make Me a Channel. Was our peace. See, I have I'm in the country, I'm out here in Powder Springs, Georgia, and there's a thing, that's got, a little stream thing that comes from the sewer, and the water runs down between my house and my neighbor's house, and I built a little bridge so you could walk across the bridge, and I don't know about wideness, but this channel so that the water can drain on my streets when it rains, and the water comes down between the two houses in a little gully, and that dumps the water into a leak in my backyard. Yes, it does. So you can tell when the lake starts drying up, ain't been a whole lot of rain. So, but in the meantime, what I have to do is tell my gardeners, don't blow leaves into that channel because you'll block the rain and then the water, the lake will start drying up, right? So we have to keep that channel clear. But the thing that comes from the gutter, there's a part of that gutter that's a round thing that's covered by grass. And if it gets plugged up there, the water won't come out either. So my channel has to be clear so that the water can go out, so that the ducks can swim, and so that the blue heron can come back there, and so that the family of geese can come back there, and the catfish and the snap turtles and all those things that God made can be back there. But can you imagine if that channel's blocked? Well, my channel is my soul, my spirit, baby. And the reason why I need to pray and meditate, because I need to review my day to make sure there's no blocks to keep the channel or the wind or the water of God to come through that. See, when I'm blocked, I can't hear God. When I'm blocked, can't hear your ass. When I'm blocked, can't even hear my own thinking. The good thing about being self-examining 10 steps before that, looking at myself, and then I have an idea what to pray for. Sometimes I found out in a hard way, sometimes I pray the wrong prayer. Now you'll say, how do you pray a wrong prayer? A selfish prayer. I had a husband that snored like Fred Flintstone. My first husband snored, the curtains would come in the drawers. It was bad. And I had a newborn, I'd be like this. I just want to sleep. I want to stab him. I want to throw the baby in the toilet. Oh my God. And he snored so bad. And I used to pray, God, please stop him from snoring so I can get some sleep. Stop him from snoring. Stop. And then one day, I had a spiritual awakening, a spiritual experience. Voice loud as hell said, you've been praying for the wrong thing. How about change your prayer to no matter what goes on that I get some sleep? Baby, I tell you, when I changed that prayer, he was snoring and calling hogs, and I was like this. And the baby was on my breast like this. We all sleep. I slept from that day to the day I left his ass, baby. So when I have to pray a prayer, even if it's a specific prayer, it says, please, thy will be done. My meditation is make me a channel, God. Remove me from the bondage of self, from all my sick, silly thinking, my retardation, my slowness of my spiritual growth, and help me to be a channel so that the love can flow through and dump into the lake of love. And God is that lake. Make me a channel. And then the cold part about that prayer is where there is darkness, let me be light. Where there is disharmony, discord, let me be harmony. Do you know those are all principles? There's 12 of those. Check me out. We talk about the 12 principles in the steps. We talk about the 12 principles in the traditions. But did you know there's 12 principles that he's talking about to make me be? Forgiveness. What? Not that F word. Yes, baby. Forgiveness is the biggest channel blocker for me. Because, baby, I may make some fake ass amends, but when it comes times to forgive you, I'm like, I ain't ready to do that yet, God. God said, okay, keep on. You plug now. Now I'm spiritually constipated. I need a spiritual X-lax. Go back to 4 to 9. Go back to 10, boo, because you constipated. Now I'm looking all mad and angry and toe up and face all mean, and all of a sudden I start getting sick. All of a sudden I got lump in my breast. All of a sudden, because any sickness, Leslie, if you don't pray and meditate and you don't ask God to cleanse you, because you have that power now. And newcomer, I'm just talking because you got to go through the steps. Yeah, you got numbers on the steps, but you can practice this right now. You can do 11th step right now. Yeah, the steps got a number on them, but I beg to differ. Sometimes I get people just to get them in the habit of writing. Give me a 10-step every night. Send me a gratitude list. And ask God to forgive your wretched ass. Oh, she's behind. Somebody gonna hear this recording so she just cussed at it. But that's okay. 2 minutes and 3 seconds. So, what I've learned today, my passion is what do I choose to die for? What is important enough for me to hold on? I always wanted to be a woman of style, grace, and dignity. Betty used to say that. I wanted to be, my favorite word as a woman is regal. And you can tell the true woman when you get in her circle and it's just you and her. They used to say, if you want to see how a person prays and meditates and how armed up and how geared up, God geared up they are, follow them home. See how they treat their kids and their dog and their friends. Well, I hear about a lot of y'all. Some of y'all's demons in cover. You wolves in sheep clothing. I hear about y'all, a lot of y'all, how y'all treat some of these newcomers. And I just sit there and listen to them. I don't say nothing about how you treated them, but I tell you, this is how I treat you because I try to be like the principles of God. Not perfect. And then I'll tell you my flaws because what is it? I'm armed with facts of my raggediness. I'm raggedy as hell. Ralph will tell you. Ask him. You can ask him. But the good thing about Ralph is, I'm gonna bring you in this, is that he'll say, I can love you more than you can act a fool. Who says that? I guess people be saying, how does he deal with her? Because he got a guy too. I'm going to tell this last story. Ralph and my sponsor was here at the same time. So I had two great bookends at my house. They were both here at the same time. She'd get up and make her coffee because she's so zen. And Ralph get up and make his tea because he's so zen. And I'm sitting up, waking up with my hair all over my head looking crazy. And he had a stack of books when he traveled. And she had a stack of books, meditation. And she does a 10, 10, and 10. That's what she does. She reads for 10 minutes. She writes for 10 minutes. And she prays for 10 minutes. I ain't doing it. And so she go out on my front porch because I got a little swing, a little country house. It's not fabulous. It's cute for me. And then he'd be in the couch and I'm looking at this side and I'm looking at this side. I'm like, let me get me a damn book. Y'all ain't going out meditate and pray my ass. No, you ain't going to make me look big. I got a third. They both the same age and sobriety. They both birthdays is a week apart and they was born the same year. I'm still a student, y'all. And I see how these people who are emotionally mature act, behave, and how they see things. Then they'll say something just as beautiful. And I'm like, what she did? And my spouse, he did this. And she said, oh, poor baby. I'm going to pray for her. And I said, so-and-so did? He said, well, the way I look at it is, and it's totally opposite. So I know these are people who pray and meditate. Meditating is just being still for a minute and just pondering. You ain't got to really do a whole lot, just pondering and chewing on what you read. I gave a young man a thing, and I know it's my time. I gave a young man, he's got 5 years, and he's a powerful young man, and he's a great fellowship man in the making. And he said, can you help me? I said, I'll help you. He's got a sponsor. Keep your sponsor, but I'll give you some. He said, I never had a woman tell me. I said, you know what, man? You have the 5 P's. This is in my meditation. That comes up in my meditation. I said, you have 5 P's that I can give to you. To all the gentlemen here, this is is it big book related? But it's spirit related. I said, you're a prophet, you're a pastor, you're a priest, you're a provider, and you're a protector. Look up each one of those words and write about it. I'm going to say it again. You're a prophet, you're a pastor, you're a priest, you're a provider, and you're a protector. That is your role as a man on this earth. I don't care what God you believe in, but know that all the women around you, we look to you for that. Men, we look to you for that. I do. Now, some of you women that don't believe like I believe, you don't have to. But I know that I'm not God. But then again, if I try to practice his principles in all my affairs and not destroy and just be love, maybe I am God. My name is Leslie Strange. I'm a recovering alcoholic. Thank you.
Always good to see you, Mary. Please come on in.
Thank you so much. My name's Mary. I am a recovered alcoholic living in Maine. And Leslie, what a powerful share. And I just have one question, which has been really kind of in my head for a while, and I keep asking people, and maybe your insight can help me. We have the 4 absolutes. Okay, honesty, unselfishness, loving, and pure. That's easy for me. When I see something that I can apply those things to, I can accept them, right? That's okay with me. The thing that I have trouble with are the things that I don't find acceptable. When I see something that's morally wrong or something happening in front of me, sometimes I get this rage and I sit there and I want to try to find a way to bring God in. I want to try to find a way, but I can't apply those 4 absolutes, and I have trouble finding my way to accepting what I think is unacceptable. It's a real dilemma for me, and I'm hoping you have some answers. So I'm going to be quiet now. Thank you.
That is the most beautiful question, Mary C. I love you divinely. You know what? I found out that the 4 absolutes are principles, and that's cool, Mama. That's beautiful. But what you're doing, in my opinion, Spirit says, You're limiting God. You're putting him in a box of absolutes. Look at that word, absolutes. 4 absolutes, 10 commandments, the tenets of the Tao Te Ching, the laws and the rules, and just like this. And my book says God is broad, roomy, and all-inclusive. He's bigger than what my finite thinking is. And the reason why you get mad is because you're playing God and his suit is too big for you. You need to give it good to him and say, God, find the good in whatever it is you cannot accept. And if it's affecting you directly, then you remove yourself from being affected, and you pray protection. You command protection over you so that the shit don't splat. You either trust him or you don't. God is what? He is either everything or he is nothing. So stop trying to hold people to the cross. And you get up off the cross because we need the damn wood and it's cold in Georgia. Did that help?
Thank you.
Next.
Come on, Calvin. Come in, my love.
Okay. Hello, everybody. My name's Calvin, and I'm an alcoholic. Thank you so much, Leslie. Thank you for a profound message. And I knew before the meeting started you was going to do this. I just felt it. And I wanted to say before I get going, wherever you speak, I'm going to come listen. I tell you, you touch my soul, girl. And I was thinking about when you talked about the oneness, how when you go into a meeting and you be in there or be wherever and be still. I was in a meeting maybe 10, 11 years ago, and the speaker was speaking, and she was in the spirit, and the whole AA meeting got still, real still, and you knew the presence was in, and everybody knew that was in that room that they felt that presence. And that's what you talked about, that's power. That's power. And when you talked about the energy, if you negative, you do a lot of gossiping and you are totally blocked off from the sun, and your energy changes and shifts right away. And you talked about it when you talked about that stream behind your house. And you talked about reading people. God gives you the vision, but not to hurt nobody. But he gives you a vision to see. He gives you a vision to see. That is power. Oh, just thank you so much. Thank you. No doubt.
Thank you, Calvin. We love you. Courtney, thank you for putting your hand up. Please come on in with your question.
Leslie, I want to say thank you. I have been going through a really difficult time with my father, who's an addict, and trying to help him to carry this message that we get in this program. And all I wanted to ask was, I want a little you in my life, and I'm wondering if I could have your number.
Okay, I just had to go through a quick consultation. Thank you, Courtney. Yeah, you're hurting. My name is Leslie, recovering alcoholic. Yeah, this is painful to watch someone you love kill themselves slowly. And all I can do is be an ear. But you already know the answers, Courtney. You're only 23. You just getting here yourself. You know, they say something about when somebody's drowning, you have to be really strong to rescue them, because they, in their fight to stay afloat, they will bring you down. Another example is if I climb up a tree and I try to pull Ralph up the tree, his strength, and because of the law of gravity, he could probably pull me out the tree before I could pull him up. So maybe quit pulling and quit trying to swim and doggy paddle. Let us throw you the rope and you grab that. I'll put my number in the chat. Cut it out. That ain't your job.
Thank you, Leslie. Ferdinand, please come on in.
Hey, Alice, thank you. Leslie, thank you. I really appreciated your message. This is the second time I got to hear you in the last couple of weeks, and the first time was you and Ralph, so that was a treat. Thank you for your example, your spiritual example, and your message. You talked about the collective spirit, and the collective spirit saved my life. Collective spirit in the room. The tumultuous life that I lived before I came into the rooms willingly, it was crazy. But the peace and serenity and the love and the collective spirit in the rooms was awesome. And that's why I keep coming back, and I'll keep coming back the rest of my life. I want to hear from you, because you talked about the results and the effects of the collective spirit. How did the collective spirit in the rooms move you? And I'm look forward to your description of that. Thank you.
I love you, Ferdinand. A black man named Ferdinand. I love you, brother. Anyway, he said it. Stupid. I said it. Y'all thunk it. I said it. How does the collective spirit help me? I'm not alone. I never will ever feel alone. And when I feel low and I'm out of energy and I'm in pain and I pick up my computer or I pick up my phone or I take Ralph's car and I drive to my home group in LA, something about that energy source gives me energy. Somebody's not muted. Somebody in that energy source gives me energy. The energy is the inner G. It wakes up the energy, the sadness and depression. Don't you notice how good you feel if you go to a meeting? Don't you notice how good you feel if you get a call from somebody doing worse than you? Don't you know how good you feel when you call your sponsor and they give you some real quick advice? Don't you notice what that is? That's God talking through someone. I'm going to say this to all of you in front of me. If you're looking for God to have a voice, to sound like something, my sponsor used to say, if somebody says, I heard from God, you ask them, what did you hear? And then if they say, God sounded like this, ask them, did they take their medication? Because the God of my understanding works through people and shows me signs and wonders and the wind and the air. I get to see things. God don't come. Who is it? God. God don't come to me like that. So the collective spirit is that we God, and you lift me up when I can't see.
Thank you, Leslie. What a great answer. So we've got 3 hands up and we have 2 minutes. And so Gabby, can you come in really quickly and ask a quick question? We're going to do rapid fire.
Now, very quickly, thank you, Leslie. The thought occurred to me. This is going to sound very harsh. I'm not judging any spiritual tradition. They're all to me beautiful because it brings us to God. The 10 Commandments, I used to be calling them the 12 Commandments. The 10 Commandments are guideposts for those who haven't contacted consciously God, that they're for people who don't know God yet. What's your thought about that?
Thank you, Gabby.
Thank you. Real quick, the answer to the 10 Commandments, even though I could, if you ask me what religion, and I never go, if you ask me what religion I am, I'd tell you I'm Christian. But the 10 Commandments, scratch all the 10 Commandments. There is one commandment above all, and it's love. So if I'm loving, I won't kill myself. I won't kill you. I won't steal from you. I won't commit adultery. I won't covet my neighbor's possessions. I won't talk about my mom and daddy. There is only one commandment that covers all 10 commandments. And if you don't know nothing about commandments and all you do know is love feels good, right? And I used to always say this real fast. I don't know what God's will. That's bull. I know what God's will. It's everything. That's 12 principles, 12 traditions, 12 the principles in the book, guideposts that are all about good. So all that is love is what God's will is.
Great answer, Leslie. Thank you. Ruth, come in, rapid fire.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ruth. I'm an alcoholic. Thank you so much. I only caught the tail end, but I'm so glad I jumped in. The question I would have is that I feel like my spirituality is kind of in line with what you're sharing. But sometimes what I get caught up on is how long is waiting for God's response? There isn't a time. I used to tell myself, well, how long did Noah have to wait, right? And these are all stories that I can relate just to the time of waiting for an answer. I waited 3.5 years to get the job of my dreams, but I got the job. And then 1 year later, I was fired. I'm dealing with what someone told me. I need to learn how to grieve the relationship with the mother who's losing herself. And I feel like being in the home where I'm dealing with the reflection of childhood.
Okay, stop. Before you go there, baby, I'm going to cut you off. What's your question in general? What do you need from me?
The question is, when do you stop fighting and resisting? And then, feeling that, am I waiting for God's response, or am I just
doing for the safety of doing. You know that.
Okay.
How do you
Okay.
know that stopping point, or you just staying?
Okay. Okay, I got you. I got you. I got you. I got you in general, real quick, because we ain't got much time. I want to be obedient. You keep doing what you're doing till you're tired. See, you did what you did until you was tired of drinking and using, right? So when you did that, you did this. You surrender, right? So you keep acting on them defects and showing your ass and acting a fool and running shit and praying and doing all that. You do the same thing you did when you were, in the meantime, you was working on that job for 3 years. You was doing some stuff in the meantime. You weren't just sitting at home looking at the computer, looking at your phone. You were living life. Live life. Stay in touch with somebody and let them know what you're doing. Keep living. And when the time comes, and when the time, because time is not yours to waste anyway. That's all God. That's a whole nother story. We can talk about that later. But you trying to sit up here and wait for God and don't know what you live in the meantime, and you pray for the knowledge of his will and the power to carry it out. And you call one of these women and call 2 of these women and call 3 of these women and run it past somebody and get your ass a sponsor. And in the meantime, you start writing. And the problem with your mother is you ain't forgave her, nor have you made amends. That's why it's a kerfuffle. I love you. I'm done.
Thank you, Leslie. Come on in. Last one. Rapid fire.
My name is Selena. I'm an alcoholic. I'll make it quick. So how did you know that you were moving from knowing God to trusting God? Like, when did you know that?
I didn't. I still don't. I don't trust his ass sometimes as far as I can blink. But I do know this. That's my lack of partnership. See, this is a cooperation. Say, what's your name? Selena. Selena and you, we got a book. We got a hair studio, and we got all the weaves and the hair colors, your color, my color, weaves and everything. And we're partners. But every time we get a shipment, you be taking wigs out the back door and selling them to Alice. And you don't tell me nothing. And I wonder why we do an inventory and the shit is not right. And I'm like, why we keep losing money and you ain't telling me? And so if I tell you once to stop doing it and you keep doing it, guess what? I'm going to fire you as a partner. I'm going to buy you out and I'm going to go get another partner. Well, that's what I've done with my life. Fired myself. I got another partner and said it's God. And in between me and the God, I got a gap stander. You know, you heard of the Gap Band? I got a gap stander. Guess who that is? That's everybody that's wiser than me, including my sponsor. And then when she tells me things, all she does is remind me, listen, remember you said in the third step you was going to trust him and turn your thinking and action over to his care. Well, you forgot about that? You hadn't vowed. You married the guy. You got a new partner. Okay, I'm done.
Leslie, thank you for